Hello and good afternoon. My name is John Perry. I'm the Chief Technology Officer at Perspecta for the Defense Group. Perspecta is very proud to be able to sponsor as a Gigabyte sponsor. We had a little bit of change in plans in terms of the order, so we're going to start with Mark Beall. So it is now my pleasure to introduce our first, speaker, Mark Beall. He is the Chief of Strategic Engagement and Policy for the Joint Artificial Intelligence Center for the Department of Defense. Mark?
Nope. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark Beall, and I'm the Director of Policy and Engagement at the JAIC, the Joint AI Center, as we call it. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you today. I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit about what DoD is up to with regard to AI and the role of the JAIC explicitly. Before we begin, I'm going to take a little bit of a risk and assume that some of you guys are familiar with at least the basic tenets of AI, and if not, no worries. From my perspective, the important thing to understand is that the diversity and range of national security mission-relevant tasks that computers can perform has expanded dramatically. Things that were once extremely difficult or impossible for a computer to do are now, in many cases, easy, provided that you have access to the right talent and the right data. With traditional computer software, nearly every line of code is typed with human hands. With machine learning AI, the computer itself applies an algorithm to training data and thereby programs itself. This change has enabled a revolutionary expansion in capability, and it is our job at the JAIC to help harness this expansion for the benefit of U.S. national security. Andrew Ng, a Stanford professor and one of the leading researchers in AI, has stated that, quote, just as electricity transformed almost everything 100 years ago, today I actually have a hard time thinking of an industry that I don't think AI will transform in the next several years. Electricity is a general purpose technology used in countless different ways for nearly an infinite range of applications. Today, it's pretty difficult to imagine a DoD without electricity. And we think it's only going to be a short time until we have a difficult time imagining a DoD without AI. In fact, we believe that AI is ultimately going to be a critical technology underpinning the future of U.S. military superiority. Widespread and effective adoption of AI will bring about enhanced operational effectiveness, improved military readiness, and increased efficiency in DoD business activities. If you think about each one of those three areas and the impact electricity has had on them, you will get a sense of what we mean and expect over the long term with AI. The leadership of DoD and the White House recognizes fully the transformative potential that AI can bring to U.S. national security. As a result, we've released 3 documents in the near term that enshrine continued U.S. leadership in AI as a national priority. The 2018 National Defense Strategy, the 2019 Executive Order on Maintaining American Leadership in AI, and the 2018 DoD AI Strategy. The DoD AI Strategy was included as a classified annex to the National Defense Strategy, but we released an unclassified summary earlier this year. So I'm delighted to be able to share with you some of the key elements of that strategy today. So when you think about the DoD AI strategy, there are really 5 key pillars, and we'll go through each of those pillars today. First, we are focused on delivering capabilities rapidly to address real missions. We are not merely content to study and research modern AI technology. We wanted to put it to use. This mission focus is core to our organizational culture at the JAIC. We know that the traditional approach to DoD acquisition is complicated. We require our acquisition teams and our industry partners to navigate these processes and then wonder why we are slower to need than we would like to be. But under the leadership of Undersecretary of Defense for Acquisition and Sustainment, Ms. Ellen Lord, DoD is developing one acquisition process for hardware and another one for software. The JAIC echoes the urgent need for this new approach and will leverage it fully to enable delivery of capabilities to our warfighters. Not only that, but we seek to manage our programs using agile commercial best practices, practices in which developers get access to end users during the development, incorporating their feedback and testing of earlier prototypes as part of this iterative development process. JAIC's mission is to accelerate the adoption of AI across DoD to achieve mission impact at scale. AI pilot projects are relatively simple, but adopting AI at scale is fiendishly hard. As a result, the next pillar of the DoD AI strategy is to build a centralized foundation to enable DoD enterprise-wide scaling. As the DoD's AI Center of Excellence, we at the JAIC are developing a number of capabilities that are common across multiple AI efforts. These are areas like AI technology infrastructure, trained models, and data curation tools. Though we are initially building these capabilities to serve our own needs, our ultimate ambition is to make them available to the entire DoD through what we call the JAIC Common Foundation. Access to these shared capabilities will serve as an accelerator to the rest of the department. This is yet another area where we're going to focus on best practices from commercial industry. And just about every medium and large-scale AI company in the United States has a machine learning infrastructure team that is a little bit separate from their individual project teams. JAIC's vision is to transform the Department of Defense using AI. Fundamental to that vision is implementation of this strategy's line of effort to cultivate a leading AI workforce. This includes not only recruiting for the right types of AI experts, but leading cultural change across the department. It means instilling a culture of data excellence in our senior management and in our operational leaders. It means training mid-level managers on how to properly make use of AI technologies and to understand what types of problems AI can solve and what types of problems AI cannot solve. It means understanding the talent and capabilities that are resident within our own workforce, particularly in our younger generations. In addition, JAIC is seeking to attract the best and brightest people from across the department, from commercial industry, and from academia. When they get here, they are empowered to bring their expertise to help hasten the department's transformation. We are fortunate that not all of our country's brightest minds want to use their talents only to sell advertisements online. They want to help the United States in the national security mission. Fourth, we are reaching out to potential partners across industry, academia, and the international community. We understand that DoD does not by itself have all the ideas and people to get where it needs to go to take full advantage of this AI revolution. We are interested in harnessing the best talent, technology, expertise, ideas, data, investments, and applications of AI wherever they can be found. And the DoD has already begun several major partnerships with leading universities and companies on AI. Project Maven, as an example, another DoD AI Pathfinder program, has an active university consortium in which many leading AI researchers can weigh in on DoD AI activities and provide guidance based on the state-of-the-art of technical expertise. At the JAIC, we have also engaged with dozens and dozens of allied countries to discuss our AI strategy and how we can work together to advance shared values and shared interests. JAIC's international engagements are focused on bringing allied talent and technology into the department, focused on laying the foundation for AI-enabled interoperability, and supporting the U.S. assertion, the assertion of U.S. leadership on AI policy, norms, and standards. Last, we seek to lead in military ethics and AI safety. We acknowledge that there are fears regarding the security, economic, and social implications of widespread AI adoption. Our citizens need to know that everything we do in DoD, we do in an ethical and legal manner. Let me say unequivocally that even as technology evolves, the DoD remains committed to defending America's national security in line with our nation's values and align with that most exquisite piece of practical statecraft ever committed to paper, the United States Constitution. That commitment is unwavering and formally enshrined in our strategy. The Defense Innovation Board, a group of leading technology innovators, has for several months been holding public discussions, bringing together AI experts, ethicists and philosophers, lawyers, NGOs, and the general public. These sessions have received a significant amount of input on the ethical implications of use of AI in the military setting. We want to understand what aspects of the technology require special attention in order to ensure that DoD's adoption of AI is done in accordance with our values. The Defense Innovation Board will soon release the draft set of its principles that will again be made public for comment. In my organization at the JAIC, as well as the broader DoD leadership, takes this effort very seriously and is committed to using AI for good in support of our mission in the national defense. So those are the 5 pillars of our AI strategy. The JAIC is the focal point of that strategy. But our organization is actually nested under the DoD's Chief Information Officer. And this is actually of great benefit to us. AI is just one piece of the puzzle when it comes to the department's digital transformation. Those other pieces include what we call cloud, C3, command, control, and communications, and cybersecurity. This next chart is something that we call our placemat. It shows the entire life cycle of each JAIC product, from data selection to conditioning, to training and algorithm development, to iterative testing and refining, and finally to production. This is the cycle that we go through for each of our national mission initiatives. Just a word about our partnerships inside the department. We at the JAIC are far from the only organization in DoD that is working aggressively on AI implementation. One of our critical partners are those talented scientists and engineers in the Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Research and Engineering. Whereas we at the JAIC are focused on what we call AI now, or improving the adoption of mature commercial AI technologies, our colleagues in research and engineering, which includes DARPA, is focused on what we call AI next, advancing the state of the art in AI. AI now and AI next are critical for DoD's continued success. At the moment, the JAIC has 4 main national mission initiatives, what we call NMIs. They are predictive maintenance for the UH-60 helicopter, humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, cyber defense, and robotic process automation. Each of these areas is focused on projects where mature commercial AI technologies can effectively be brought to bear for issues of strategic importance. We also selected these areas because they are effective environments for learning by doing, in which DoD can improve its AI project management capabilities as we move on to other and more complex projects. As I said at the beginning, we are a very young organization. These 4 initiatives will soon be accompanied by many more that will cover an increasing range of DoD missions and activities. To conclude, we realize that AI technology is not this all-powerful silver bullet. There are no silver bullets when it comes to national security. But nonetheless, we realize that urgent adoption of AI and all of the associated reforms that are needed are critical underpinnings for assuring the department's continued ability to defend American national security. DoD's successful adoption of AI will not assure success, but failure to adopt AI will incur an unacceptable high level of risk of defeat. Thank you for your time, and if folks are interested, I'm happy to take a few questions.
Reporter with breaking defense and professional, loud, obnoxious asker of questions. Tell us a little bit more about your 4 areas. I'm a bit familiar with the predictive maintenance, which I understand involves Special Operations Command as one of the major partners there. We've heard a bit about the disaster relief, information sharing. I haven't heard as much about the cybersecurity aspect in particular. And a lot of people have said, in this offense-dominated space, the one thing that lets you potentially catch up with the attacker is to automate and intelligently automate with AI the defensive system. So who are your partners on that? What kind of technology are you exploring? Is there a specific deliverable on that to go along with the other three areas?
Sure. Thanks for that question. So we definitely concluded in our sort of project selection discussions that cyber defense was one area that offered a lot of promise. And the reasons, I guess, are threefold. First, we had a robust and active community of interest in partnership with U.S. Cyber Command and other elements in DoD that everyone sort of identified a key need. Second, we have a tremendous amount of data in that space. And third, this is an area that our people, it's a very manual process today. So those three things that come together sort of lend itself to a sort of a more clear path forward. More specifically in terms of our efforts, we're looking at how we might use AI to help detect anomalous activities in our networks, to understand where misuse accounts might be happening, and then sort of what we call network mapping, or understanding sort of the full range of the inroads and outroads of DoD network traffic. Thank you.
Thank you. Justin Doubleday, I'm a reporter with Inside Defense. I just wanted to ask about the Common Foundation. Can you just kind of flesh out more what that will be? Will it be like a repository of tools? And then how will you pull the services and defense agencies into that? Will you mandate anything, for instance?
Sure. So on our Common Foundation, it's something that I see really as a core strategic function of the JAIC as we grow and expand. The way I envision it, imagine like an Amazon Web Services-like capability or like an App Store-like capability, where components that are working on AI projects can come in, can log into a secure portal, can get things like policy hacks, market research, data curation tools, train models that are similar to models that service their needs, power and computing resources, basically a one-stop shop to help hasten and accelerate the adoption of AI across DoD. And I acknowledge that we have a lot to get to. We're sort of very new, kind of version 1.0 right now, but I would imagine in the near future that's going to ramp up and that's going to be a huge focus of effort. Thank you. Yes, that's going to be a huge part of that, but I have to sort of confess that cloud is not my area.
Hi, Matt Baynard from Defense Daily. I was just wondering, is there any further national mission initiatives that are starting to come together, maybe what the fifth and sixth one might be on the horizon? Thanks.
There are several, but none that I'm quite ready to share publicly. Thank you. All right. Everyone have a great day.